and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought, since we just got back from Disney, literally, oh my gosh, we decided to drive to Disney, which from where we live is about a 15-hour drive with stop. It makes it probably closer to like 17 hours, which is a lot. So I don't even know what day we got back. We got back at like 2 a.m. yesterday. So we went to sleep, woke up, and then we got back to Oklahoma, like where we live. We got back here at about 9 p.m. So now woke up, it's Monday. Okay, anywho, I decided to do what I wore to Disney for my makeup. I wanted to film this, and so I'm gonna start with sunscreen. I used, this one is so old and so disgusting, but it's the Sunbum Face 50. I've never noticed any kind of like breaking out or anything like that. I've taken this to Disney now. This is my third time. This literal same one. I really need to just use it up. I'm trying to use it every single day, but it's just not going. We did go to Disney for a full like 9 days, and so it's just so, it was really disorienting to kind of get back here, and like we hadn't pulled into like our parking garage in a long time. It's like, wow, I don't even like, it's been so long since we've been here like to the parking garage, and then, you know, getting Quill back in our lives, and like, you know, that's really awesome, but it's like, oh wow, now I have to take care of like a thing again. It's just like we were gone for like 10 or 11 days. So now I'm going to use same moisturizer. I'm also trying to use this one up. I like it decently. It's lightweight, but you know, it's just fine. But Purity Made Simple Moisturizer. Oh, I remember what I was saying. Okay, so I wanted to film this while we were in Disney, but I could not get the, like, we just had our phones with like the little stands, and I could not get it set up right. I was trying to prop it up with different books and all sorts of different things to try to lean it on stuff, and I could not get it to sit right. And so I spent probably an hour one day whenever we were just going to go to, we were going to go park hopping that day, so I was going to film that day, but that did not work out. And so I spent an hour trying to do it, and it was just really kind of stressful, and so I was like, you know what, it's just not gonna work. I didn't have my big camera with me, and sorry if that's the air conditioning, if you can hear it. But that's one thing that is probably like the worst thing about going on vacation, which is just like a silly thought, because it was just an absolutely amazing vacation. We did so much. I'm going to talk you through everything that we did. That was the worst thing about going on vacation, is that I have been acclimating myself. Like I said, we live in Oklahoma, so I've been acclimating to myself to like cold weather, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to put on my jacket as much, only whenever I really feel like I need it. And so I like was allowing myself to be a little bit cold. And so whenever we went to Florida, it was Florida weather for part of the time, and it was like, it was 90 degrees one day, and it was supposed to only be in like the 70s, maybe 80s as a high. And so it was just like ridiculously warm for most of the time. So now coming back here, this morning I woke up and checked my weather, because I had a winter weather advisory, and so I checked the temperatures and whether or not it's gonna snow today. I don't think it's gonna snow where we're at, which really stinks, because if it's gonna be this cold, I would like it to snow. That's just me personally. I know everyone else disagrees with me, but it felt like 18 degrees this morning. I don't know what it is right now, but that is just a ridiculous notion and a ridiculous temperature to be. The foundation that I used on my whole trip, which would not be ideal for you, of course, if you are traveling by plane, because it's in a glass container. I just don't think that would be like super awesome, but it's the Healthy Foundation from Physicians Formula, and it has SPF of 20, which is not like super high, but I think in combination with this, it's okay. And I didn't notice any sunburn or anything like that. I am going to apply a little bit more on my nose. I just feel like feel like my skin looks good overall without makeup right now, but I feel like just before starting this video, I feel like I just kind of looked like a crazy person. But I think like in general it looks good, but I feel like on camera it's like looking pretty wild. So something about this foundation, there was one day that it was pouring down rain. It was absolutely, it was just absolutely miserable, and that was our last day there, so it was pretty disappointing. But I mean, it was a good day overall, but definitely the rain and having your feet wet is just really uncomfortable, and it was pretty early on in the day. So now I'm gonna go in with my Bobbi Brown corrector. But my mom, who doesn't really do makeup that much, was talking about how my skin, like, even like, of course, like with rain and all that, kind of washes makeup off and all that, but she was like, she was complimenting my skin and talking about how glowy it looked, and I did not have any highlight on. It was just my foundation, and so I thought it has a really good, like, healthy glow. Of course it says it has a brightening complex, but maybe that goes into it. Like I mentioned, of course, like, Quill wasn't with us. He stayed with my dad at our home in Texas, and so they got to party together all week long, and so we didn't get to see him for so long, but he has been crashed, like just zonked out all day long. Also going in, this isn't my favorite, but I don't know if I'm just not using it correctly. Concealer is one of those things that I'm still working on, finding like my perfect match and my perfect like amount to use and how to apply it. I'm using the Instant Age Rewind Maybelline, and it's the eraser of dark circles, which I don't really have dark circles, but I have pretty prominent veins under my eye. I think it has to do with probably dehydration. But like even through that, you can still like see my veins there. But I do think those two products assist with that. So I did bring a lot more products than I actually used every day. So something that I did use is the Sunbum 30 sunscreen chapstick. So I did use that each day. My lips were so dry, and I tried to just keep applying my chapstick, but you know, you just get so busy. So I did bring primers, but I really hardly ever used them. These are also products that I'm trying to use up. I brought the Benefit Hula Light. I thought it was the easiest, and of course I also brought my NARS one just in case I needed to use a mirror. It's not as dark, so it's easier just to kind of whack on and not really worry about like how much you're using, because you're trying to, of course, like go quickly. I did also bring a powder, but I really did not, and of course I lost the lid for it. I think I mentioned that in my decluttering video, but I did not really use it that much. I also brought this Benefit Conditioning Primer, which I used some of the days, but typically I just put on these 3D brow tones. I ran out of my actual like pencil brush, and so I've just been trying to use this up. I actually really like how it looks just by itself. So we went, the first day we got there, we did Disney Springs, and so that's their little shopping area that they have in Disney, so that was a lot of fun. But the next day we went to all of the different, or like as many resorts as we could. So we went to the Polynesian, we went to the Grand Floridian, we kind of skipped through the Contemporary, we just rode the monorail through it, and then we went to Port Orleans, not the Riverside, but just like, I guess the regular one. I don't know exactly how that works, but we went to Port New Orleans, and it was really fantastic because it was through like all the Christmas season, so everything was decorated for Christmas. In the Grand Floridian, they had a huge gingerbread house, which was really beautiful, and you could purchase things out of it, and there was all these hidden Mickeys over it, and so while we were waiting online, we were able to look at all the different hidden Mickeys. We had lunch there. I think it was just called the Grand Floridian Cafe, and we had an egg Benedict flight. That was really good. There was like a lobster egg Benedict, and there was like a ham one, and just some really amazing. So there's 3 different ones that we got to try. So Trey and I split that. Then in the Polynesian, we had some Dole Whip there, and that had to have been like the best Dole Whip I've ever had. Of course, I've had it on every trip, but that seemed absolutely like the best. So I do recommend getting it from the Polynesian. Oh no. So I did bring my Dandelion blush, and it's the only brush I brought. So I actually dropped it on the like last day because I mean I was exhausted. And so like it has fallen out, but it's still like intact at least, so I can still like use it, but I'll just have to use extra care. I just dropped it again. It's good. We're good. Oh my gosh. I cannot be trusted with this. We did the Port New Orleans, and we got beignets from there, and I thought I was not gonna like them because I thought they were gonna be similar to, I of course grew up in Texas and Oklahoma, so sopapillas are a really big thing, and I'm not like a big fan of those, and so I thought it was gonna be similar to that, but it was closer almost to like a funnel cake, but just like a dense funnel cake. They were really good, and they were not really that crunchy or anything like that, so they were absolutely fantastic. Okay, so I'm trying to remember and do what we did for my Tuesday makeup look. The next day it was Hollywood Studios, which since we went in April, and so I think, yeah, at that point we didn't do Hollywood Studios, and so they had Toy Story Land, and they also had the Star Wars Batuu Land that was open, and so we hadn't been to either of those. Lands, and so that was really exciting to get to do 2 new things. We rushed in as early as we possibly could, and how they're doing Rise of the Resistance is you join a boarding group, which is just an online queue. So now I'm using my Naked Urban Decay palette. I thought it would be like the easiest, I just stabbed myself in the eye. I thought it would be the easiest palette to bring because it has a lot of my like favorite colors, just like neutral tones in it, and it's all in one palette versus the Jaclyn Hill palette I have is really big, and so this one is more compact and easier to pack. So we did, we ran in, and so you join a boarding group, which is an online queue, and so we got into that. We were like number 50, boarding group number 53, and so we did get to ride it, which was absolutely fantastic. Not everyone does if you don't get there early enough, which typically I think by the time the park opened the virtual queue was already full, and so it was like 8:05 and they were all gone. So I think we arrived at 7 to actually get that, which means that the park was open to us. So we got to go to Tower of Terror, and then we did Rock and Roller Coaster, and those were like walk-ons, which is just absolutely unheard of and absolutely fantastic. Then we went over to Slinky Dog, and they said like 70-minute wait, and so we're like, okay, we'll bear through it, because the first thing that we had to do that day was Oga's Canteen, which is another thing that you don't really like. It is very full, and so you have to kind of fight to get, especially because we had a big party of 6 people, so we had to really fight to get all of us in there for that. Just been doing Naked all over the lid, and then I'm about to go into Sidecar and put that on the lid as well. We did Slinky Dog. Said it was 70 minutes wait time, but we got to go through it all in 30 minutes. Like by the time we were finished riding, the wait time was 30 minutes. So sometimes I think they sort of manage expectations with what the wait time is. I don't know exactly how it works, if it has to do with like fast passes, which is like a reservation to actually ride the ride. So I don't know if they like maybe put like what you should like anticipate, but like oftentimes, especially at Hollywood Studios that day, it was not what it actually was. Like same thing with Millennium Falcon. It was supposed to be like an hour wait or something like that, and we probably waited, by the time we got off the ride, it was probably 40 minutes. So nothing that we rode that day was really accurate to what the wait times were. So we went through and we did Slinky Dog, which is really fantastic. Then I think we just made our way over to the Star Wars area and kind of walked through. Then we did Oga's Cantina. We did vlog this. I feel like I'm talking a lot about this Wonderland. It was really a fantastic day. But we did vlog a lot of this, but it was very challenging this time to actually vlog everything. And I guess I was feeling a bit more like shy about vlogging this time around. So whenever we went in April, I feel like we vlogged a whole lot. We filmed like everything. But this time around, I feel like we just did not film as much. And I think it had to do also with the weather, because okay, so I'm just gonna skip ahead. I'm not gonna talk in detail as much. And if you want me to talk more in detail about it, just let me know and I can do like a longer sit down, but I don't want this video to be too terribly long. But we did, so after that we did the Mickey party, so we got the full like morning to just relax and really enjoy ourselves. And we went around the resort we were staying in and we had a really amazing lunch. We got to the Mickey party at about 3 o'clock, 3:30 or so, and then you cannot clock in until it is like your time to enter, or else it will use a different pass. So it would take away from our actual regular park days instead of the Mickey party ticket that we have. So you have to wait until like 4 p.m. So we did that. Everything went smoothly. So now I'm going to go into pluck and work it into the crease with a fluffy brush. So we did the Christmas party, which is really fantastic. Everything was walk-ons, which is really insane. And then they have different stations for you to pick up cookies, which is really fun, and different like hot cocos. And they had a strawberry Fanta, which was not good. It tasted like hot Jello. Then the next day was Wednesday, and we did Universal. I mean, we just went all out this trip because we, as a family, are not going to get to go back for quite a while, at least as like a family unit. I think Trey and I are going to try to go back probably sooner than our family is planning on it. But we want, like as a family, we want to start focusing on other vacations. We went to Universal, and that was absolutely fantastic. We got to do, I think I'm saying everything is fantastic. The whole trip was awesome. We got to do Hagrid's, I believe, Hagrid's motorbike adventure or something like that. It was a beautiful ride. Oh my goodness. It was so thrilling and delightful, and you are basically going the speed. I don't know exactly the speeds that you go, but it's got to be like the speed of a car. So L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara, you've got to be going like from like, I don't know, like 10 miles an hour up to like car speeds of like 60 and 70. It was so thrilling. It was so amazing. And so we did Universal on Wednesday. Then on Thursday we did Animal Kingdom, and then we did a park hopper over to Epcot. And then Friday we did Epcot, and we got to ride basically everything on Thursday. I don't know, the Animal Kingdom day and Epcot day, it started to rain and our feet got wet because I had the soft mesh top shoes. And it was like, I feel like the first day I could do it, and then on Friday my feet got wet again whenever we went to Epcot on that last day. That was the last day we were there, and it was just absolutely miserable. It was like the moment you get a drop of water on your shoes, it was like, oh, I don't know how much I can do this. And on Thursday I luckily had a pair of socks to change into. I did not pack my bag with another pair of socks on Friday, which was a big mistake. So on Thursday it started to rain, and so whenever we hopped over to Epcot, there was like no one there. It was totally empty. And of course it was still drizzling, but we had a fast pass for Soarin'. We did Figment, which was a walk-on. We did Frozen, which was a 10-minute wait, which is absolutely unheard of. So we had a lot of really good luck on this trip. Oh, I'm also going to go in with Virgin and kind of highlight a little bit. So we did the World Showcase, which is all the different lands that they have. So they have like Canada, England, France, Japan, China, Italy, like all sorts, Mexico. So they have all sorts of different countries that are represented in the World Showcase. So you can experience just a tiny bit of their culture. And since it was the Christmas holiday party, they had a whole bunch of different foods that you could try, different pop-up shops. So we got to try a lot of different food than they usually have. I got a margarita from Cava del Tequila, which is a staple in mine and Tree's relationship. I'm also going to actually use this as a highlight just a little bit, which I think I basically only did that day. But we got it on our honeymoon, and it's just one of those things that's carried over to all of our different Disney trips. Trey actually got sick on the trip. I lost my voice, which I think it's back mostly, which is really great. I lost my voice because on Hollywood Studios Day, we did Tower of Terror in the morning, and then we got a fast pass for it in the evening, and then we hopped off it and were able to get a second fast pass for it. And so we got to ride that one 3 times that day. And so I screamed so much on that ride specifically. I mean, there's other rides that I was screaming on, and like especially at like Universal, I screamed a lot that day too. But basically that first day I kind of lost my voice, which really kind of didn't help the whole vlogging thing either. One thing that I also really wanted to do and didn't get to do was I wanted to do a Marc Jacobs wear test at Hollywood Studios, because they have claims that this should last for 10 hours. But it was just one of those things that didn't happen because filming was a lot harder this time around. I can't tell you exactly why. I think it is mainly a like mental thing, and so I just wanted to like explain that. But I'm really sorry to like myself, because I want to have those memories. And obviously we took pictures as well. But it's just something that I really want to look back on and enjoy and get to go back and watch. Like, I regret not having filmed, you know, parts of our honeymoon. And I do have really good memories about it, but I do wish that that's something that we would have done and would have just been able to look back on, because I think it's just kind of a beautiful thing to be able to remember. So I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to film as much as I wanted to. Anywho, I used on the Christmas party day, I used the Marc Jacobs in O'Malley, which is the shade 200. And I thought it was just really festive and like a fun shade to have for a Christmas party day. Have you guys ever been to Disney or to Walt Disney World or Disneyland? But tell me your experience with it. I hope you enjoyed this and me kind of talking through our vacation that we went on. So if you want a more detailed video, just comment down below and I can kind of talk you through everything. You can expect the vlogs from both April, which will be much more footage, and the footage from December. Let me know what you think about like the order of events. Do you want to see the April ones first? Do you want to see the December ones first? If you don't have an opinion, I'll just kind of figure it out. But I do have a lot of videos from going to Disney, which is a lot of fun. I've got this one, I've got like what I bought, what I wish I packed, packing with me, cleaning with me before I went, so expect a whole lot upcoming. I think kind of after the Christmas season, you'll see a lot of those start rolling out, because I have a lot of Christmas things that I want to do as well. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you would subscribe before you go, that would be awesome if you want to see more content like this. I am definitely going to try to start longest outro ever, but I'm going to try to start posting more regularly. Also, I would love it if you would go and follow me on my other social medias. I will link them down below, or try to, but it's Tabitha and Carr on Twitter, and it is Tabitha carr-rhoades, so same as my channel on Instagram. Alright, thank you so much. Thank you for watching.